There we go.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. Hi to everyone. Jeanette, there are no public comments, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, no additions to the agenda. So first item of business would be accepting the minutes of March 6th. I'm sure you've all had a chance to read them. If there are no corrections, if there are corrections, fine. If not, I need a motion to accept the minutes of March 6th.
I'm
Sorry,
happy
quick-
to
Oh,
move
I
that.
can unmute
Okay.
in time. I can
Okay.
second then. Yeah.
Okay, Lauren can second. All right, since we're on Zoom, it'll be a roll call vote. Janet? Janet? We can't hear you.
I shouldn't unmute yet.
We can't hear you. So you, all right.
She's looking for the.
Can you hear me now?
Now
Yeah.
we can.
Okay.
Do you accept the minutes of March 6th?
I do.
Okay, all right. Jen is not here. Alex?
I
Alex,
do.
are you? Okay. Viviana?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay.
Okay, we're going to change that vote just slightly because I don't think Alex was there at the last meeting. So I think Alex has to abstain.
You're right. And so does Lauren, actually, because Lauren.
Okay, good. I didn't
I
catch
just
that
messed
one.
everything up. Okay,
No,
sorry.
no,
Right.
you can make a motion and you can,
Okay,
you can second
okay.
it. You
But you
just have
can't
to
vote.
vote abstain. So, so
Okay.
that, wait, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. So that's 4 and 2. Okay, 4,
But we,
yes, with 2 abstentions.
and Jen wasn't here yet, so you didn't count her, did you?
I didn't, but I still get 1,
You have
2,
1.
3, 4, 5, 6 of you. And when Jen comes, there'll be 7.
Okay, okay. All right,
Okay.
fine. Moving, next is the FY23 operating budget. Jeanette, would you like to?
It's very quick. Oh, Jen's here. Sorry. Just, we made it through, as I said last time, with only a $600 deduction from youth services, which was a increase we had asked for. And the preliminary budget hearing is April 24th at the high school at 7:30 p.m. Changes can still happen to the budget between the preliminary budget hearing and the annual town meeting, which is May 15th, also at Amity, also at 7:30 p.m. So is your presence requested? It is. Is it, if we have a couple of people there in support of our budget, it would be great. Do all of you have to be there? Absolutely not. I think we're in good shape. And I'll eat my hat if we have to go to the annual town meeting and ask for money back. But we will, and that's the way we'll handle that. So that's just a quick update.
Okay, next item of business is the Woodbridge Center. Christy, would you please give us your report?
Sure. So we've been busy with programming and the senior center renovation, which Jeanette will fill you in on in a little bit. And all of my details from the programming are in the written report. So I'm just going to go through and touch upon some highlights. The COVID-19 community level for New Haven County has stayed at the low level. So we've been able to have masks be optional at the senior center. And we served 108 meals at the St. Patrick's Day drive-through luncheon on March 16th. And that was sponsored by Coachman Square and Southern Connecticut Gas United Illuminating. Hampton Rehab and Healthcare Center sponsored or provided 2 programs this month. One was on March 10th, and it was the Immersive Ireland Experience, which included a virtual tour, a craft, and some tastings from Ireland. And on March 30th, there was a fabric bowl craft workshop, and both of them were well attended and everyone enjoyed them. And then on March 22nd, we had a cooking demo that was provided by the award-winning chef Tony of the Linden, which she gave a really wonderful demonstration that was really enjoyed by everybody. One of the foods that was demoed was grilled chicken carbonara over pasta, and she cooked bacon there, and the smell just went throughout the library and beyond, and Eric even came down to see what it was all about. It was really great, and it was delicious, and everyone was engaged throughout the program. On March 29th, lunch bunch went to Carmine's, and that was really enjoyed by the people that went. Everyone that was there was saying how much they missed going and how much it provides the opportunity to not only socialize, but to get to go to restaurants that they wouldn't get to go to otherwise. And they were very happy to go and wanted to do it weekly, which unfortunately we can't do. I was willing. And then upcoming programs and events, we're having the spring drive-through luncheon on April 13th. That will be co-sponsored by the Linden. And on April 18th, we're having a spring paper flower craft that'll be provided by Hampden Health. On April 20th, we're having a lunch and learn on energy savings, which will be given by United Illuminating and Southern Connecticut Gas. They're going to provide lunch and a presentation about how to save money through making your home more energy efficient. And Sarah from United Illuminating was at the drive-through luncheon, and she interacted and provided literature and to the participants. And so a lot of those people were interested, and we already have 20 people signed up for it. On April 28th, we're having a lunch and collaborative art program. The center's partnering with Woodbridge and Orange Youth Services to provide an intergenerational program, which Nancy will give the details about in just a little bit. And on May 5th, we're having a lunch and learn. A lot of things are related to lunch this month, apparently. And we're having a lunch and learn on Staging 101, which will be provided by the Holly Shambron real estate team. And they'll provide lunch with a presentation on techniques so that you can enjoy your home now and hopefully increase value to your home when you're ready to sell. And lastly, the center will be providing transportation once a month to Alley's Dream, and from JCC to the center. Alley's Dream is a day service program for young adults with developmental disabilities, and it's based out of the JCC. And it's just a really good opportunity to promote community inclusion. We're also working with Hampden Health so that they can provide some of the crafts that we've been doing with the seniors. They also provide them to the participants of Alley's Dream. So we're looking forward to that. And that's it. Are there any questions?
Sounds very busy.
If there are no questions, then thank you, Christy. We need a motion to accept Christy's report. And
I'll make a motion to do so.
Okay, Janet, and a second.
A second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Janet,
Yes.
Jan,
Yes.
okay, and welcome. Alex,
Yes.
okay. Viviana,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Right? Youth Services, Nancy, would you please give your report?
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me?
You can.
All right. So the after-school guided study program has been in full swing. That last report, which was about mid-March, Katie McCollum, the teacher who's responsible for coordinating it, she said they were about halfway through. She did report that they had to make smaller groups for the younger children because the kids were a little needier this year. I think just coming off COVID, kids have just been, feeling a little more emotional from what I'm hearing. So that should be done soon. Planning, well, it was in planning, but actually Friday night it was the last day of the month. We had our sixth grade meet and greet. So students from Bethany and Woodbridge got to come to the middle school to have their first event there. So it was really nice. We had a DJ, we had a huge obstacle course called Adrenaline Rush. And believe me, it was lots of adrenaline that night. We had 120 kids. They were just having a blast, and there was just a constant line. So it was really nice to see that. And I have to say, Jamie Joy, she made the raffle so much fun for the kids. Sorry, my phone is ringing, or some phone is ringing. But it was just a really fun night. Nice to see all the energy and the excitement. And kids had a great time. They had some pizza, chips, lemonade, they were just really fired up to be together. So it was great. And we had lots of volunteers. So I hope that continues through next year. We have a Red Cross babysitter training scheduled 2 Saturday mornings. Our instructor couldn't make it during spring break, so we're doing 2 Saturday mornings to break it up because a full day is just too much for this age group. So it's April 22nd and 29th from 9 to 12:45, and it's here in room 16. And there are 2 events that are going on. Well, an event each of those days. There's Red Letter Day, I guess this 22nd and 29th, the baseball startup will be outside, so we will ask kids to come in the other side of the building, but it'll be fun to host that day. Home Alone class we have scheduled for April 12th, and I've discussed with Vinnie Lynch, our Officer Lynch. He's planning to come and just talk about emergencies, what happens when you call 911. So it's a good program, and we only have a few kids signed up for that, so I'm hoping I can do another blast this week and get some more kids into that. For Selectmen's Youth Award, originally nominations were due the 3rd today. We did extend the deadline to the 10th, and it's a good thing. I just got a second nomination. So right now I only have 2. So the odds are pretty good. So if anyone has a youth to nominate, I'd appreciate hearing about them. I'm sure we have more than 2 kids who are just doing a great job and helping people in this area. Information's gone out with all the schools. We've sent emails twice. And I'll do a last minute blast on that again, see if we can round up some more. The sponsorship, it has not come through yet from M&T Bank. So as Dwight said, I could reach out to the Bethwood baseball if that doesn't come through. I just emailed them again the other day, hoping to hear from them soon. Awareness Week, I don't know if there's going to be an interest in doing it this year at the middle school. I tried to work with the student council. We set up a meeting. Not one student showed up that day. Maybe it was just a busy day. So I'm hoping, we can move that ahead. It would have to move to May. Usually we do it in April, but I have enough in April. I think May would be the earliest we could manage it. And I know there's testing in May. So it might be a good time to do something, maybe even a little later in May. So the Amity Connections field trip, one of those field trips, well, I know Christy mentioned one, but Amity Connections is a newer club at Amity. They started working with kids last year. So they have some older kids who are mentoring some of the younger kids. So they got t-shirts, and so last year we took them to Discovery Park in Bridgeport, did the whole ropes course. So they have a minimum number of kids now, and we couldn't meet that number of kids. So I suggested Prime Climb in Wallingford, they have the rock climbing walls, and they have a nice program. So it's now called Rock Spot, and we'll take the kids there. So Orange Youth Services and Woodbridge Youth Services will both, help fund it, and I'll use some of our money that we have from Bethany as well. So we're hoping to have a nice turnout for that. We just ordered the bus, and so we'll have the kids there, do the rock climbing, and then have some pizza there as well. So it should be a fun day. And then the high school also has a small group of kids coming over on the 28th, and that's what Christy was referring to. So those kids will come over. They'll just kind of walk through our offices here. We can explain what we do in Human Services, our Senior Center, Youth Services, show them the food pantry, and talk about, how we can offer job bank community service as well. And then we'll go over to the library, and then some senior citizens will come in, and we'll have lunch together, and they'll do a poster mosaic. Christy found this mosaic where you order the poster, but they're a little just little adhesive papers in different colors, and you put it together, and so you don't have to show them the picture until they start making it, and it should be exciting watching this whole thing develop. So I really have high hopes that everyone enjoys that, and it'll be fun. I think the seniors will enjoy it too. So something creative, but also some interaction with the teenagers. And Orange Youth Services will be involved with that as well. And we can reach out to Bethany as well. I just thought since Orange and Woodbridge would be, represented, it would be nice if Bethany would send someone, their one human service person if they'd like to. But we can always mention maybe she could send something so we could at least discuss what Bethany offers for their families. And last but not least, grant reporting. DCF has decided they want a new method of more up-to-date data collection. So they hired an outside organization. We've been working with them. They did a huge survey to try to find out how to service, how to provide information that DCF wants, but also how to make it possible in all the different types of youth service bureaus. So we've been working with them, and they will host it for us. They'll set up a Google Doc for us that we can just do our reporting on. And we won't identify students by name for them, but we will do, initials, or we'll do a code for each kid, a numeric code, and they're fine with that. And then they will just sum up all of the activities and send it to DCF on a regular basis. So that uploading of the new document and getting us ready will be this week on the 6th. So looking forward to getting that moving, getting it out of the way, honestly. Any questions from anyone? All right, thank you.
If there are no questions, thank you, Nancy. Lots going on, as always. Again, need a motion to accept Nancy's Youth Services report.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you,
I
Vivian.
can
And a
second that.
Thank you, Jen. Okay. Janet,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
okay. Alex,
Yes.
Viviana,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Okay. Jeanette, would you please give us the Human Services report?
Sure. So the renovation is moving along. It is every day something a little bit new. They are working, and we've seen the grid for the ceiling go up, which was a great addition. We've made some final choices on some of hardware and little tiny bits and bobs that needed to be still chosen. We await the floor to be installed. The HVAC is mostly in, which is why the ceiling could be closed. We're still waiting for one more unit to arrive for, I believe, Christie's office. And the condensers, which there are 6 of these condensing units, and they each weigh about 600 pounds apiece, were they arrived and were stored down at Public Works. And then we had a crane come in, and they lifted over these 600-pound condensing units and put them in the courtyard right next to the senior center. So that work is all finishing up now, which is great. And the reason we were able to get the crane in on a weekday was because following the last construction meeting, Susan was there and Christy was there, and we were down in the senior center, and there was some water on the floor, and it was really not water. Apparently it was septic from the childcare center. A about 6-inch cast iron antique pipe had cracked, and it was leaking into the senior center. The childcare center was asked to stop using all water and sinks, toilets, all of that immediately, and the state shut them down. If you can't have water, you can't have a childcare center. So they went home, and the earliest it could be fixed was Saturday. So they were out of the building for Thursday and Friday, which allowed Brad to hurry and get this crane company in on a weekday, costing less money than bringing them in on a Saturday. But the driveway had to be closed, and it would have been a huge inconvenience to the childcare center. So utilizing this opportunity of disaster, which could have been a disaster if the ceiling had been in, if the walls had been painted, if the flooring had been in, if furniture had been there. It happened at an opportune time. So the construction never had to slow. Brad brought someone in, and they replaced the, I don't know how old, 75-year-old cast iron pipe. I don't think it's as old as the building. It was, I think, an addition. And now we have brand new PVC down there, and they were able to get rid of a second main that was no longer in use, but was sort of hanging over the main dining room, the cafeteria. So that's gone at the same time. So we turned bad into good, and we were able to get everything fixed and move ahead with the project at the same time. Other things that we had done, Christy arranged for the pre-wire of the audiovisual system to be completed as the ceiling was going in. That had to go in above it. She, if you'll remember, got a grant from Area Agency on Aging, the South Central region, for the labor portion of the AV project. So she's got that going. The rest of the project, this is, it's kind of a big project. If you've ever been to a movie at the library with their screen and the projector on the ceiling, or a speaker who has like the lavalier mic, and they're talking and they have a presentation on the screen, that's what it will be. It'll make it a fully functioning room for many areas of the town. If town hall needs it for a presentation, or if another group, it'll be awesome to have there. The sound system will be very good for the seniors, and good to see. So that has gone. Request for proposal has been posted, because it is more than $5,000. It had to have bids, and it's gone to both our website and the state website. And there'll be a walkthrough. When's the walkthrough, Christy?
The 6th, I think it's April 6th. isn't it?
April 6th, and then there's a date, the 14th, for questions, and then it closes on the 21st. So that is moving that project forward, and that's going to be terrific. And let's see, what else did we decide we should talk about? I think that's it for the renovation. We have another meeting on Wednesday, tomorrow morning. Christy and I are going to meet with Silver Petroselli to just talk about signage, and a few other items down there. Susan?
Just the tentative date for,
Sure. Tentative to have a ribbon cutting ceremony at the end of June. We are, we're at their mercy for when this job actually gets finished. So we're telling seniors, stay tuned. Christy wants to plan a bunch of activities for the seniors and really make this a special time, bring them back. Remember, since we closed in March of 2020 for the pandemic, we went right into the closure for the flood, and then smoothly into the closure for the renovation. It's been a very long time since these folks got to use. We used a small portion of it for a little while for craft group, but they were really the only ones who've been in there, and it's been a really long exodus. And I hope that they're excited as we are about bringing them back. So that is the renovation. The center building renovation will, they received $333,000 from the ARPA funds, in addition to the $500 steep grant, giving them a budget of over $800,000. And with what costs are today, it's still not enough money to do the gym, including the a necessary piece of roof that will need to be replaced to support the HVAC system, and to bring it into compliance with ADA compliance. The entranceways, the two doors, the main doors into the gym are not ADA compliant. And so Mason has to come in and widen those doors, and doors have to be installed there. It needs a new floor. It needs paint, ceiling, lighting. We're not actually going to put a new floor in. I misspoke. It will be a renovation of the existing hardwood floor, because those are hard to come by and an excellent product. It just really needs some help. It looks like we come in under budget for that part of the project. We go way over budget with the 3 bathrooms. There is potential to add the ADA compliant bathroom. There's a men's room, a women's room, and an ADA compliant gender neutral bathroom. And that bathroom is no longer in ADA compliance. There is no location in that bathroom to shift from a wheelchair onto the commode, onto the toilet. And that's required now, and it just doesn't have any space. So not sure how it really works for people, but it's certainly not compliant. So I'm hoping with that construction, they would need to bump out that wall a little, because it is just not big enough. And we thought about moving the ADA compliant bathroom into the men's room, and moving the men's room into the ADA compliant bathroom, so that we could utilize the space of the men's room. Unfortunately, the number of people who are served in the gym facility requires a certain number of what do we call them? Fixtures. We'll call them fixtures. And by taking the men's room out and just putting it into the ADA compliant room, there would not be room for the 2 fixtures that the men already have. And so they have to keep things as is. They're really great about knowing what our options are. And so we're following their guidance. So we'll see where we get with that budget. But I'm hopeful that the gym project will go. We'll get the gym done. We'll get at least 1 bathroom done. And then if the Board of Selectmen votes this month for the $55,000 needed for the center building renovation scope of design work and architectural plans and mechanicals, then we can move ahead with plans for the renovation of the entire center building. I have to say that, I hear about, oh, this plan and that plan, but the infrastructure of this town, these buildings, are woefully, overdue for some work. And so I know people say, we've got to fix this building, we've got to do this. There's a lot of pressure for the funds that come to town, or the funds that we have, but infrastructure is important for doing the work of the town. So we really do need to think about that. And that's my 2 cents of working in a building that has too much heat or too much, everything wrong with it. Okay, so that's it for renovation. I just want to briefly touch on, I want to go right to the RAF. In your packet was the original RAF, which unfortunately went without its header. So I hope you put 2 and 2 together, that was the RAF information. I apologize. That was my error. The original paragraph, Part D of that document, talked about an annual maximum assistance of $600, and the fuel allotment at $400. We also always guarantee about 150 gallons of fuel when we assist, which most of the time does not fill a tank. At current prices, 150 gallons at $4 a gallon is $600. So it just makes sense for now, we either can just forever just say 150 gallons, but that worries me if oil goes to $8 a gallon, we could be talking about $1,500 at some point when we really can't, the fund can't do that. So the state would have to step in, or our partner agencies would have to step in at a higher threshold. But seeing as we are capping now at $600 for fuel, there is always the opportunity to have the director, in conjunction with the social worker, make a decision to give assistance to an individual or family for assistance in another area. And that is a flexible $200. It can be to fix a car so you can go to work. It could be, your furnace broke. It could be, anything that is a one-time in a year request that is, a reasonable request. We're not going to pay off an old bill, but we are going to assist you so that you can keep going and doing the things you need to do, and get to work and live, because so many small problems come up for our clients, and it's devastating. They have one hospitalization, they miss one payment, they're behind, and it is tough. So that we also, at the same time we looked at that, we also looked at the fairness of providing $600 worth of assistance to someone who uses fuel oil, but someone else who may use natural gas to heat their house was limited at a lower cap. I think it was $200. They were actually not fleshed out. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this now. They were not fleshed out. And we want to make sure that other utilities, now, if you're getting your oil, you're not getting the other utilities. It is a maximum allotment per year. You're not also getting your electric bill or whatever. But to instill in here some sort of cap for someone who, has electric heat, has gas heat. We want to be able to cap that. And since those costs are less, we cap that at $400 rather than $600. And I just want you to know that I worked on this with, I wrote this and then I bounced it off of Ellen and Judy, because they, for the most part, coordinate these payments, and we do POs to get the people the assistance. So we work together on this. So now the new language is here. It still defines the annual period as 12 months, beginning at our July 1 timeframe, and it still adds the undue hardship. If the family has a fire or all of that, we are there to help them with additional assistance. Are
So
there
you
any?
You need a motion.
I do need a motion, but I wanted to know if anybody had any questions. Viviana?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand this. If I, for example, have natural gas and I need assistance, I can ask and get $400 the first time. Can I come back a second month and ask for assistance so that I don't exceed the $800 cap? Is that how it works?
No, it's $400 assistance for the year on natural gas. You would also be applying through TEAM. You would have to financially qualify for this assistance, and TEAM will give you the first help. And that is a range. They have been giving, federal government gave team a lot of money. And so for the last few years, their assistance has been like all over the map. It really depends on your need and the structure. So you may get an allotment of $2,800 from team. And then come to us in March, that's in September, and come to us in March and say, I've used my entire allotment. And it works the same way with us. We pay the fuel oil company once they've delivered the fuel. We don't give the money to the client. We are paying the purveyor directly. If they drop 400 gallons in someone's house, we pay that bill. We invoice that bill. And it works the same way with team. They're not just getting the money and maybe they use it for their natural gas or maybe they don't. They are using it for these bills through that same payment system. So if they run out, it just, for whatever reason, they're renting and the house is completely inefficient or it's an extremely cold winter. They are getting another allotment from us that's why we're so busy come February, March, April, because people, especially if it's cold nights like now, 30 degrees at night, but it's nice during the day, some people, you got to keep your house heated. So the season lasts a long time. It's $800 capped for the year from us.
Okay.
So if they did get $400 for their utility, it is very doubtful we would come back and give them $400 for their utility again. This is supposed to be for a one-time help. This is not for someone who's living in a house they can't afford to live in. They will have to be relocated to something that they can afford. If it's monthly, that they're just, a client has a bill from an electric company and we are going to give them the one-time allotment and we see in the bill that they have $1,900 in arrears. That's not something we can help them with. They literally need to live somewhere else because the assistance isn't going to get them through. We're just a Band-Aid in that scenario. We've got to get them to a place that they can afford to actually live in.
I understand where the $800 cap comes into play. Does
Okay.
that 800 maximum annual cap apply only to the distribution of fuel, of oil?
It does. It's a maximum cap. Maybe I should write this a little differently. You are absolutely right. It reads like
I'm confused. It looks like you get 800, but not if you're asking for natural gas.
right. It really is. It's $400 for natural gas and any other utility plus a $200 one-time discretionary assistance by the director and the social worker. So it perhaps in our effort to try and even things out, we didn't quite get this. So I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take it back. And I actually get your question and I can't explain it. So it means I did something wrong. So let's look at that again, because we don't want to be inequitable here. We don't want people, well, just because my neighbor has fuel, they got $800 and can heat their house a little longer than I can. We want it to be equitable. Things just don't cost the same. So then you get the other side of the story. Well, you gave my neighbor $400 in discretionary funds because he has natural gas and I have fuel and you only gave me $200. Not that anyone ever in the history of ever has talked this way to us, but I do want to be equitable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull it back, talk to Judy about this and see if we can figure out a way on a case-by-case basis, maybe not to have a maximum, maybe it'll say not to exceed $800 in an annual term, which doesn't say that you get $800. It's up to us. So thinking on the job here. I won't charge you any extra for that.
An excellent question from our attorney, our resident attorney here.
Yeah. not to exceed, can we just table this so I can talk to Judy about it tomorrow? And I don't want to move ahead with, I wrote it, which is probably why it's unclear. And we'll just make sure that Judy chimes in. Any other questions? Because that was really good, Viviana.
No problem. That was my question.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, we're going to table that. So no motion is needed. There's just a few other things that I'm going to run through. VITA is almost done. We have a couple more weeks of that. It's been totally full for over a month, returning people to other locations. It's a very popular program. The CPR AED first aid training for our new staff members will be in April, and the rest of the staff is being retrained in May. We have those dates set. We do have COVID test kits. If anyone's asking you where they can get them, we have plenty, and they do expire pretty soon. So we want to get rid of those, but they may extend them again. I wrote a volunteer confidentiality agreement based on a couple other towns' policies. Nancy gave us some input on that, and we made a couple of changes. It's basically because we will have a unpaid experiential learning program intern from the high school starting May 15th. He's been volunteering with us, but we're going to have him do a bunch more, and he's a great kid, and we all appreciate his help. And so, it was really time for this department to have that policy. We do have volunteers, and they, can be working in an office where they may overhear a conversation about a client. And we're often very careful about only saying first names, last initial, but a client could walk in to get their food and it could turn out to be his neighbor, or a friend's parent. So we want to make sure that our volunteers are signing off on a policy where they understand confidentiality. So that was included in your packet, and I hope you had a read of that. Anyone have any comments about that policy?
Yeah, I have just a question. Did your legal department review the agreement?
Actually, they did not.
Okay.
They did not, but I got it from Manchester. And mostly from Manchester, from another town. And it basically says the exact same thing. I will run it by Jerry Weiner before we have the kids sign it, just like the contract for Dellinger Rad for the Youth Service Bureau data system. He signed off on it, and we were able to go with that. It's a good idea.
Because
And
they want to include something in the agreement saying that if they violate the terms of this agreement, that they will no longer be able to volunteer. There's no mention of what the sanction will be if they violate the confidentiality. Just a simple sentence saying that you will be removed from the volunteer program might be something you want to include.
okay, that's very nice. I don't want to scare anybody, but yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Run it by the town. Run it by the town.
Okay, that sounds good. I appreciate that, Viviana. We can definitely add it if he says so. All right, that's the end of me. I know you all want to get to your UConn game, so especially you, Alex.
Okay. Thanks, Jeanette, for that very comprehensive report, and lots going on always. I'll need a motion to accept Jeanette's report.
I'll accept it. I'll motion it.
Okay, Alex, and a second. I think, Lauren, you raised your hand. Okay,
Sure.
all right, okay. Janet,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Alex?
Yes.
Alex? Yes, okay. Viviana,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
and myself, yes, okay. Next is old business, new business. I just wanted to say, again, to remember the importance of attending the preliminary budget hearing on April 24th. It's wonderful to have everybody in the audience and to be able to stand up and say something if somebody happens to want to take an axe to our budget in any way, okay?
I have something, if
Yeah.
I can, with new business. I just wanted to poll the audience here to see your feelings about meeting in person again. The convenience of Zoom can't be beat, especially for our moms present. And I want to take that into consideration, and levels of COVID in the community can change at any time. I wanted to, especially since I hear, Kathy's going to be in Arizona and she could take the meeting from there. I don't know that we have the capability of hybrid meetings. To a certain extent, we have the same capabilities we had before, where somebody can call in on a cell phone and be present. That way, it won't be a Zoom meeting, but we'd be present in a meeting, and someone would be on my cell phone or Christie's or Nancy's cell phone, and we could still do a meeting that way. My feeling is, without Arnie and Pat here, I don't really want to make a decision. I just wanted to get your feelings. I will be out of town at the next meeting. And may call in, may be present. We'll see. My flight gets in at 5, so we'll see. But so I definitely don't want to make any changes before that one. But just to be thinking about what we want to do this summer and going forward. I could always book us room 16 if we so choose. Just putting that out there. Does
So
anyone
we
have any
wanna get a
thoughts?
sense- Yes, how do people feel?
I think we should go one more. I think we should go one more month.
Okay.
Zooming,
I prefer,
Because, yeah,
yeah, and I prefer the convenience of Zooming.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
sorry. No, go ahead.
Lauren, what
I
did you say?
like the convenience of Zooming. There are times where I'm trying to multitask, but I can, if that's what is chosen, that's okay with me. For now, I think maybe we can revisit it next month too, just like others have said.
Okay.
I would just echo the convenience of Zoom is, not to be understated. I don't know. I feel like, because I think I've only been on the commission while we've been on Zoom, maybe we had one in-person meeting, maybe 2. But I'm just a teeny bit concerned that I'm, a little bit missing the natural, I can't think of how to speak because I've been on Zoom too long, but the natural things that occur when people are in person.
Natural connections.
Yeah, the
Yes.
natural connections, and also like if there's something really important, I don't know, it feels somehow different. I don't know. So I completely agree that the convenience of Zoom, it cannot, be overstated, or however you word that, right? But that I don't want to miss the importance of like our work that could maybe be enhanced for meeting in person. But I'm just sort of brainstorming, or yeah.
Jen?
I'd like to say that I definitely I think it's time for us at some point to move to maybe having some Zooms, but occasionally meeting, because I feel like it's been a long time since we've been able to gather together. So I would agree if people feel, for me, I'm voting, just a shout out that I do think we are missing that connection of being able to interact a little bit. But I think, again, I get one vote, and I just wanted to say that I do think that being able to interact is nice. And it's not appropriate just yet, but hopefully soon it will be. The weather's going to be nicer. We can be outside, maybe away from each other, not on top of one another, and yet interacting in a human way, as opposed to anyhow.
And I just want to add, with the senior center being done, hopefully it's a nice big room down there to spread out also, possibly.
Yep.
If that's decided.
Jen, I don't think we heard from you really.
So I'm all about the in-person, Susan and I talk about the way we connected previously before, but I understand Zoom is definitely more convenient. However, I'm not going to cast a vote because the next two meetings I'm going to be missing because I'm actually taking swim lessons. So crazy. But
Okay.
All right, so
Okay, so I heard a lot of really good things just now, and I have a lot of ideas from that. I think that from judging by this group, I think we can do some of everything. And make this sort of a smorgasbord of meetings, sometimes on Zoom and sometimes in person on occasion to get that connection. And that sounds really great. And Christy, absolutely, we're looking forward to being able to hold our meetings down in the senior center because it's going to be beautiful. It really is. I can't wait for you all to see it. So that didn't get us to a decision, but it got us closer to understanding how everyone feels. So thank you for sharing.
so I think are we going to assume that we're going to Zoom for the next one? Is that it? Jeanette?
Absolutely Zoom
I
for
think
May.
so, definitely Zoom for the
Yeah,
next.
I don't want to
one.
change anything with Pat and Arnie away. And it sounds like Kathy will be in Arizona. I will be in Nashville heading back. So we'll just skip any changes until at least the next meeting to discuss it. And June, if we don't discuss it in May, we'll discuss it in June and act in the summer. I know we don't meet in July, but we meet in August, and we met in person the last August.
Wow.
So
No wonder it seems so long ago. Okay, so we've established it's May 1st. Everyone knows that, and it's be on Zoom, and we need a motion to adjourn. And you wanted to, after that, turn off the recording, Jeanette. Okay,
I got my finger on the clicker.
okay, a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
A second, Janet.
Second.
Okay, we can do by acclamation, so. All
Kathy
right,
and Janet, was that?
yes, Kathy and Janet. Okay,
Okay,
so
fantastic.
stay safe, everyone.
No problem.
Thank you for all
Wherever
your
you
work. Yes,
travel, have
thank
fun.
you, everybody.